Hello everybody, this is Jack at the Paranormal Intelligence Agency. Thanks for being with me once again. On this video, I'm going to be exploring something that has caught my attention for a while now, and that is the evidence for an ongoing conflict or war in space. The man on the screen in front of you is a man named Gary McKinnon. When Gary McKinnon hacked into U.S. Space Command computer several years ago and learned of the existence of non-terrestrial officers and fleet-to-fleet transfers and a secret program called Solar Warden, he was charged by the Bush Justice Department with having committed, and I quote, "the biggest military computer hack of all time." And he stood to face prison time of up to 70 years after extradition from the UK. But trying McKinnon in open court would involve his testifying to the above classified facts, and his attorney would be able to subpoena government officers to testify under oath about the Navy's space fleet. To date, the extradition of McKinnon to the U.S. has gone nowhere. McKinnon also found out about the ships or craft within the Solar Warden program. It is said that there are approximately 8 cigar-shaped motherships, each longer than 2 football fields end to end, and 43 small scout ships. The Solar Warden space fleet operates under the U.S. Naval Network and Space Operations Command, formerly Naval Space Command. There are approximately 300 personnel involved at that facility, with the figure rising. Solar Warden is said to be made up from U.S. aerospace black project contractors, but with some contributions of parts and systems by Canada, United Kingdom, Italy, Austria, Russia, and Australia. It is also said that the program is tested and operated from the secret military bases, or a series of them, such as Area 51. I've also mentioned in my previous films about the presence of the reptilian aliens, and they appear to be figuring more and more prominently into the ongoing UFO mystery and disclosure. I mentioned that some of the world's best remote viewers were given a blind target of Mars many thousands of years ago. And what they determined was that Mars was in a war with a neighboring planet that had a reptilian species on it. This humanoid reptilian species also lived on the Earth at that time, and the conflict, which wiped Mars out and completely destroyed the neighboring planet of the reptilians, also continued on the Earth. And the remote viewers were able to ascertain that there were in fact conflicts here on the Earth, and that this drove the reptilians into underground bases where they reside even today and continue their operations. The famous ufologist and award-winning journalist Linda Moulton Howe has had many military insiders come forward and reveal to her the truth and the reality of our government's involvement and knowledge of the reptilians and their bases. It is interesting that as UFO disclosure goes forward, investigators like Linda Moulton Howe and many others are going to lead the narrative, and as they do, the public is slowly going to learn about the facts of what is happening. I made this video because I have noticed that there is an ongoing war or conflict in space, And I wonder, is it an extension of this age-old battle? Do the reptilians still face resistance? And if they do, can the aliens who are keeping them at bay or who are attacking them, could they help us with their presence, with the reptilian presence on our planet? The video you're seeing is the STS-48 video recorded by NASA. I put it on a rotation so that you can see over and over again what occurred here. UFO 1 is moving from right to left on the screen. You will see a flash down in the left-hand corner, and then you will see a missile or projectile being shot at that craft as it darts out of the way. A secondary projectile is located down on the right-hand side and appears to have been fired simultaneously. Here again is that video. Keep an eye on the flash. There. And the projectile there. The secondary projectile there. And the craft continues its escape. Now this is quite obviously not particles in space. This is quite obviously a conflict, and NASA has been asked about it, and of course, as always, they explain it away with a nonsensical solution of these being ice particles or something completely ludicrous. This STS-48 video is perhaps, I believe, the best video evidence that we have of what appears to be either aliens attacking other aliens or some sort of space-based weapon, and perhaps even our Solar Warden program coming into conflict with these aliens. Is this part of the ongoing conflict here on our planet? As I've reported in a few of my past videos, there appears to be the ability of these reptilian species to take the human form, and many claim that they have infiltrated into the government, into high positions all around the planet, and that they have the technology to make them look just like humans. Many also believe that there is a struggle going on behind the scenes between the reptilians who now control humanity and a more benevolent alien species. It is quite possible that what we are seeing in these videos is a conflict between those two species over humanity or over the planet Earth itself. This video is STS-80, also recorded by a NASA camera. In this video, you can also see what appears to be an ongoing war or conflict between spacecraft. The bright flashes of light are, of course, a lightning storm happening below the craft. You will, in this video, also see projectiles fired at these craft. And there was the projectile on the left-hand side of the screen. I have looped this footage so that you can see it clearly. There is another projectile, and you'll notice a few of them go by the camera in what appears to be the same conflict depicted in the STS-48 video. Not the same battle, but a battle between two apparent alien species. This footage and other footage, which also shows what appears to be somewhat of a conflict going on our moon as well, will begin to gain more and more attention as disclosure of the UFO threat by the Pentagon continues. The moon conflict is very interesting in that after the Apollo 11 missions, it was recommended by our astronauts that the moon be nuked. They came back and recommended that we bomb the moon with a nuclear weapon. Something which appeared in all the newspapers at the time, and they presented some sort of scientific reasoning for doing it, such as being able to record topographical features from the underground vibrations caused by it, etc. But as you will see, a video exists of ruins which were in fact filmed by Neil Armstrong, and that video may in fact explain some of the reasoning behind the astronauts recommending that NASA send a nuclear weapon to the moon. Recently, it was reported that there were witnesses to what they described as an alien battle above Area 51, something which was widely reported around the world. They also possessed video footage of the battle taking place, and this is interesting because the same group of remote viewers who perceived the war between Mars and its neighboring planet and the reptilians also blindly targeted Area 51 during a completely separate session. And they detected a reptilian presence at that base, deep, deep underground, the lowest and deepest part of the underground facility. And what they described is nothing short of a genetic horror show. Many human chimera creatures, half human, half animal creatures, contained within holding tanks. They detected there a reptilian presence along with our military. So it appears that elements of our military have been engaged and in contact with this reptilian species. Now that UFO disclosure is taking place, I wonder what they think about what all is happening. This is a newspaper article from the Orlando Sentinel, clearly showing at the time that a nuclear bomb blast on the moon was urged by the astronauts when they returned. This same story did appear in many, if not every, newspaper across the country. NASA at the time did not possess the technology needed in order to fulfill this mission, but the time did come when they did possess that technology, and they did bomb the moon. This is something that many in the public will remember. It happened quite a few years ago. They did it under the auspices of exactly that, of being able to read the vibrations caused by the explosion and then gain scientific knowledge from that. Many of us investigators contend that this was simply a cover, and that the nuclear bomb blast was in fact part of the ongoing war or conflict in space. It is also quite possible that they intended also to wipe out or completely destroy the ruins which were said to be filmed by Neil Armstrong, and which many researchers and government insiders claim are there. This is one of the clearest videos ever taken of an alien presence on our moon. That is an active military alien presence. Perhaps showing even more reason why they attacked the way that we did. The footage is quite remarkable and clearly shows alien craft on our moon. And so we wonder, was Gary McKinnon correct? Does the Solar Warden program still exist? Or has something else happened? Another program, perhaps? The Space Force has now been formed and will perhaps take over that role. Only time will tell. Researchers claim that the reptilians possess a kind of holographic technology which allows them to appear just like human beings. And it's interesting because at a speech given by Barack Obama, many claim that one of these reptilians made an appearance. I've included the video here. And as it continues, you will see clearly that because of the camera setting, because of the angle perhaps, or the lighting, the holographic technology that was disguising this reptilian didn't work on the camera. Here is the gentleman here. He appears to be a Secret Service agent. Notice his darting movements back and forth. Yes, Secret Service agents monitor the crowd, but there's just something slightly off. Perhaps the speed of him turning. Something's just slightly off. And as the film progresses, you'll see exactly what is off. Notice the same gentleman standing in the background. Here he is. Notice how his entire face changes with the camera at this particular angle. Here it is blown up, and there is the holographic technology failing, and you are getting a clear view of what appears to be exactly what people describe as a reptilian. The elongation of the chin, the short nose, the almost no ears, and the deep inset eyes. And you'll see it here in negative, the weird bone structure. and you're also going to see it in thermal. And notice the lack of heat. Could this be one of the reptilians that so many insiders have told us about? And when will this knowledge become known to the public? I've also included that footage purported to be from Neil Armstrong of the ruins that he actually filmed. This footage has been out on the internet for quite a few years. However, there appears to have been and is ongoing an effort to scrub it entirely from the internet. I've included it here in its entirety just for the viewers of Paranormal Intelligence Agency videos because of its historical and very interesting wealth of images that we can study as researchers to help us determine, is this footage authentic? And if it is, what can these ruins tell us? It looks as though the ruins have been attacked at some point in time. Was this the reason the astronauts came back and urged NASA to nuke the moon? There is leaked audio of the astronauts speaking about an alien presence on the moon, watching them. There were, in fact, alien craft on the rim of the crater overlooking their position. This part of their mission, of course, was top secret and remains so today. This footage has never been debunked, and its existence is entirely unexplainable. The ruins appear to be vast, and they appear to have been there for a very, very long time. Could this have been one of the structures of the species on Mars, or the reptilian species that was attacked during that war? Perhaps only NASA knows that, or our deep, dark military programs. Are these ruins what NASA didn't want others to find? Perhaps they discovered something there which they considered so threatening that it had to be obliterated. We can only speculate as to the cause, as to the reason for them covering up the footage of these ruins, and the ongoing conflict in space. Do the reptilians exist? Well, there's a mountain of very convincing circumstantial evidence that's pointing us in that direction. And as improbable as that sounds, with UFO disclosure taking place and openly admitted by the Pentagon, you have to ask yourself, just what else could be true? This is Jack at the Paranormal Intelligence Agency. Come by and see me at the website, and I will see you guys next time.